The list you said you got from the Vice Chancellor, did you confirm such list with the police or the DSS? Because when you say you trust his judgment on those lists that he's given to you,
let me tell you the process.
In a place like River State...
the process is this. When
Good.
you collect the list, you send it to the headquarters. The headquarters will collect this list, and they will do what we call a background check. That is not done by us. It is submitted to INEC headquarters. What is done there, the background check is not. It is the list that they send back to us. If by the time they send the list back and you see a name star, don't use. That in their own knowledge and wisdom, they have found that that person is not suitable. So the list does not even stop with me. That is the process. When you take this list, you forward the list to the headquarters. That is what is done. What is different about, let me say, what is different about what we are doing is that we have not collected lists from people like they used to do. Come to the gate, this one will put his own list, this one would like to put his own list. So they have seen that we have not collected lists from anybody.
For some people...
And we have made it clear. We are not just doing secretly. We start from day one that we are taking lists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 organizations.
For some,
it's very clear. So, and when this list comes, like I said, we forward them to the headquarters, to the chairman, who will, in his wisdom, will allow those lists to be checked by whosoever is qualified to do a background check.
For some people, and
this is done to us.
Oh, Mr. Kokuma,
the way it was, if something is found on any name,
can you hear me?
that is found, we don't use it.
Mr. Nede, can you hear me?
This time the list has come to us.
Mr. Nede, if you can hear me, for some people...
The list that we send to them and which have been returned to us.
For some people, without prejudice to the integrity of those who will be selected for this exercise, the fact that you're only picking people from federal institutions will also raise a source of concern for them. Is there a reason why these people are only being picked from federal institutions?
I've been thinking of the commission that federal institutions is made up of Nigerians, and state institutions may be limited to only state officials. And when you now have only state officials, it might influence, no matter what, if you recruit from the state institutions, it might influence the elections, because these are civil servants who may be loyal to the government in power at the state. It is also believed that when you recruit from the federal institutions, it cut across, you have people who cut across all ethnic groups in Nigeria and so on and so forth. That is the thinking.
Isn't that the same criticism that would trail the loyalty of those who work in federal institutions?
Well, I think for now, you must have a yardstick for what you want to do. Maybe in the near future, Nigerians will begin to think of maybe going to the moon to manufacture people to come and do elections. Because we need to do election with people. We need to do election with people.
Yeah, but Mr. Koiwa, there are those, if I could just butt in, there are those who will say, well, the federal institutions have the same kind of people that the states have. So why not take from both federal and states?
That is for now, that is the thinking of the commission and so on, in order to try to, the thinking is that when you have a mystery of these Nigerians, you may be able to have a situation where this one will disagree with all the and so on. That is the thinking.
Could you tell us before we wrap up?
The most important thing is to appeal to the people's conscience.
All right, we'll get that. But could you tell us, at the end of the day, will INEC publish the report about how this election went?
Well, at the end of every election, there's always a published position on the elections. Assessment is always done.
But we haven't seen that with the 2015 general elections, and that's why we ask. We haven't seen it with the just concluded general elections.
Well, I think there is a position, there is a publication. But if you check in INEC headquarters, you'll find that positions, the assessment and appraisal of the 2015 election was done.
All right.
The information gotten from all the states and so on are put together, and report of observers and so on, they always put them all together at least to help.
It's something that should be made public, actually. All right. Thank you for your time today, for being patient with us, Mr. Anidi Kawati. All right, that's the resident electoral commissioner for Rivers State. You heard some of his submissions there in terms of how the elections. Does that give you, what level of confidence does it give you?
Well, I think the logic of federal institutions, like Mokwe was able to ask a question, which tended to really puncture that logic, is not very valid. However, what I have always preached is make the environment inconducive for rigging. Even if you bring your mother or your father, the person will do the job. For a simple illustration, if you have a car, if an armed robber takes the car and he knows how to drive it, he will drive it away. He cannot put the car in reverse and begin to do his journey because he is an armed robber. You must drive it according to the rules of the car. You understand? If you don't do the right thing, the car doesn't go anywhere. So the car is completely, the steering is very dirigible, but the dirigibility is conditional on those who know how to move it.
How do we achieve that in this case?
In this case, I said go full blast electronic voting with all the necessary checks and balances. They are doable. The commercial banks have shown the light. You don't talk about, when you go to the ATM machine, you go on the strength that you have money there. You don't go trying, because a lot of people have tried and failed. You know, nobody is there to police you. Unless you want to carry the ATM machine, then the law will catch up with you. Then we will better deploy the law enforcement agencies to important things other than the electoral process, with all the expenses, the monumental loss in human capital and material losses. We cannot sustain it.
So that should be an agenda for this 8th National Assembly.
Buhari should spend, if he's very sincere in fighting corruption, this is the main thing. Let me tell you, the Christians will say, seek ye the kingdom of heaven, and every other thing will be added onto it. If we achieve electoral efficiency, let me just put it that way, every other thing under the sun, electricity will be there, because the man who will win would have told us how he's going to work to make this thing happen. There will be road. Nobody will steal our money. Those who attempt will be caught. Governance will have its way, rather than all these jactitations that is going on everywhere.
Well,
please.
Thank you for your time. Mr. Chimanaji is a legal practitioner, also a public affairs analyst. Well, that's about it with the elections, the forthcoming one in Rivers State today. We'll be back in a minute and focus on another matter. Don't go away.